Ta-da. Hello, hello. Good evening. I forgot to actually open. Yep, that is exactly what I wanted to have in the middle of my screen. Oops. I actually want some games on here as well. Hello, hello. How y'all doing? I hope you're good. It is so weird. It is so weird to be streaming on a Monday. Especially because it doesn't feel like a Monday. Like, frankly, today just feels like an extra Sunday. It's like, yeah, it's still Sunday, I don't know. But hey, after holiday, I've been doing... Oh, I didn't do much. I wanted to be productive, get some stuff done, but then my body decided to kick my ass. So I've just been in bed pretty much the entire day. But I mean, that's also a way to spend an extra day off. It could be worse. But I did clean up a little, you know, because of the heating guy coming tomorrow to check in on the heaters or something. And I did my dishes. And then I spent a long time in bed. I did not take any naps. I was very close to like napping, but I stayed strong. I stayed strong and did not actually go to sleep somehow. Physical and emotional rest is important too, that's very true. It's just I was just lying around and in pain, so it wasn't really restful. But hey, that's alright. On the other hand, it gives us a very good chance to continue playing Magical Eyes, which I'm very glad for. Because, you know, every year, Halloween comes every year. Halloween, a birthday, Christmas, they all come every year. And every year I think to myself, oh, you should do something cool. You should do like the cool kids and plan like extra streams or like games that fit the mood. Like do more spooky stuff. I mean, we don't really do the complete horror that other people do because I can't handle that. But we do the stuff that has a little horror going on. And like, it is now October, and at least I'm just gonna pretend that this was definitely planned with Magical Eyes. Yeah, that's horror-ish. I do not know why I keep trying to say this word when I have so much trouble pronouncing it. But anyway, we're gonna be trying Yumabari on Saturday. I do not know how that's going to go. I own both Yumabaris that are out so far. The third one is coming out in English, I think also this month still, you know, in time for Halloween. I really hope I won't be that bad at it because I would love to play them and it would actually fit the mood, and then we'd only have Eska and Doji to be there for like my emotional support at the year stuff, to be a calm thing in my life, because I'm not good with spooky stuff actually. Like, it depends. I'm okay with visual novels, obviously. Like, I'm okay with reading about it. What I'm not good at is like action game kind of stuff, or even stuff like what are they called? Silent Hill. Stuff like Silent Hill and other games along those lines. I could never play myself. That's it's like, if it's a visual novel, so all of my all the stuff I'd have to do is just press enter. That's okay. But as soon as I have to walk around and try to run from enemies, hello there, hi T. How you doing? So Yumabari is gonna be an experience because it has chasing. The entire game is basically a chasing sequence, right? In Yumabari, you're a small little girl, and I think you're trying to get home. I don't know what the plot in the first one is. you're walking around and you cannot see some of the ghosts, so your options are to either run from them or hide. I'm like, okay, we're gonna see how that goes. But I wanted to try and play a little more spooky stuff this year at least. Last year I couldn't. Why didn't I do it last year? I think because last year I got my vaccine and I felt horrible. I think that coincided with me wanting to do funny Halloween stuff, and then I was sick. Which also means sometime this month I will try to put Little Nightmares 2 on there. I managed to get through Little Nightmares 1 somehow, so Little Nightmares 2 should be good to go. But yeah, it's like I would like to put a few things in here this month that are kind of fitting for Halloween and the spooky season. Even if it's not usually my kind of thing, I do have enough games to fill an entire month. I do have enough horror or spooky games to fill an entire month, so we'll see. But for now, we're gonna keep going with this game. If I understand correctly, this entire game apparently only has like the prologue, chapter 0 and chapter 1. Because I kept wondering like, wow, damn, how long is chapter 1? What is happening here? Why is chapter 1 so long? It's like the entire game is only chapter 1. That's why chapter 1 is so long. Because I kept thinking to myself like, damn, what's happening? What's happening? Why is chapter 1 so long? When's chapter 2 coming? There's no chapter 2. There's only chapter 1. If you fill the entire month, you won't have anything for the next spooky month. Wait, what next spooky month? Nah. Listen. We have so many games. We have so many games. If worst case, I just have to play like games that feature some kind of spooky stuff in them. For example, one of the gag reels in Blaze Blue Ragnar's stories, that would count as spooky, because there's a gag reel where he meets a bunch of ghosts and is like, oh no, I'm scared of ghosts. Nah, it's okay. Listen, I have so much stuff. I could fill several spooky months. Thank you for hydrating. But like, I'm not going to write down any big plans, because every time I write down big plans for like event type of streams where it's like, oh, we're playing this game or we're doing that kind of stuff, every time without fail I get sick and I have to move it or something, and then I move it, as in I never end up doing it because it doesn't fit the season anymore, and then I feel bad. So we're just gonna try and play a bunch of spooky games this month and see how long it's going to take us and how well it goes. And then we're good to go. But yeah, we just... Spooky ghosts in Atelier, yeah! You know, I'm still missing her. I do not know why she is not... she doesn't seem to be in Dusk at all. I mean, even if she was, she would not be a ghost this time necessarily, because Pamela is a different rendition of herself in every Atelier series, but I do not know why she is not or does not seem to be in Dusk at all. Are they getting sick when you write plans down as a curse? So either way, that'll be pretty spooky win-win. I'd rather not get sick though. I'd rather not get sick. But it's a good way of looking at it. It's definitely a very positive way of looking at it. I like your thinking. Anyway, last time we found out that there's a doll going around who is apparently I don't know, cutting off people's arms. Also, everyone who's ever owned a doll has gone missing or has been declared missing and legally dead at this point, because some of them have been missing for so long. No one's ever really looked into it. They always, you know, it's only come up now that they're making a list, that every single owner has been in direct contact with the next owner and then afterwards went missing after they gave away the doll. Only the very last owner has survived his encounter with the doll, though he lost his arm, and now we are trying to find out why that is happening. While at the same time, there's a guy also trying to get some help because he thinks he has a stalker of some kind, but we don't really trust the dude because he seems to be extremely mechanical and doll-like in his way of speaking, so... Also, our second protagonist, our girl character, is very much still just thinking about the guy, I forget his name, all the fucking time, and is extremely love-struck, and I wish they would give her a little more character, just a smidge, a tiny bit of more character. I think that would be nice. Alright, you, that's his name. Yes. Yeah, I think it is. The intelligence department has shifted into high gear since yesterday, and Azuma and his team are also on the case, so I suppose some progress can be expected. What's going on? Oh. You got a new game just yesterday. I saw the two of them and Mom excitedly playing the game together after dinner yesterday. Oh. Couldn't be me. I'd love to spend a whole holiday at home. Okay, 2 weeks. I'd love to spend an entire holiday just being allowed to do what I want on my own time. Which is mostly staying home and maybe going out for a few things, like maybe to a bookstore, stuff like that. Forced a friend earlier to buy something for me, actually, because she's in Spain right now, and she visited a giant bookstore that had everything. I don't know. It was so big. The manga selection was like an entire floor, and she saw a coloring book of Witch Hat Atelier. We do not have that in Germany. We do have the manga, but we do not have a coloring book of any such kind. And she sent me a picture of it, and I was like, "Go back in there. I will pay you, but buy that thing for me, please. Buy it. I need it." So that's the type of stuff I would be doing on my holidays, like just trying to find the biggest, darnest bookstore I can find wherever in the fuck I am, and then leaving my entire bank account there. Yeah, that sounds like something I would do, I think. I don't think I'm going to be free until the case is closed, and I can't ask you out at this point, because I don't want to have to cancel on you again. We never found out what he found in the bushes in the park, by the way. There was this extra scene where he checked out the bushes and was like, but did the police really look at it that properly? But then nothing happened again. I let the date part slide, but you guys have to make sure to hold back. The physical capabilities are so high that if someone saw that at full strength, there'd be a flood of sports clubs wanting to scout them. So both of them are some kind of superhumans, right? They definitely have some special abilities as well. Based on what we figured out for the last 2 days, it's clear that the culprit is cautious and elusive. Otherwise, they couldn't have been able to keep their activities secret for the last 20 years. At least that's how to imagine they'll dare to show themselves and attack me in broad daylight. I won't completely forbid it, but the ramen place is my first stop today. Oh yeah? Oh. Were you both alright there? Oh, it's not about him not being nice, it's about his food being some kind of lethal weapon. Yeah, I know he's nice. I know that these two kids don't harbor any negative feelings toward the ramen shop, partly because of the grown-ups who keep them from eating anything served there. Let me clarify one thing. Did he squeeze the juice himself? It's safe then. But this new book looks like something for new packs and ships it. Listen, if I had the energy to actually write down my thoughts on stuff I read, I would try to make that more of a thing. And then try to grab deals, nab some deals with stores and stuff. I would love to do that, but also yeah, I just read on my own and be happy I can finish books for myself. I think that's enough. It's a relief. I figure it's best for these two to get along with him just as they have so far, staying under the protection of us grown-ups. Because he's a really reliable and wonderful man, as long as you don't let him cook. The air so polluted it's making you sick just breathing it? Okay. Ooh, hospital. A big hospital providing many of the neighbors with advanced medical care and treatment. Even people outside the prefecture come here to seek its reputable pediatric department, while most hospitals stay clear of the field due to financial issues. Okay. We've not been to a hospital yet. Is this where a guy who lost his arm is? No nameplate hangs at the door of the single patient room, probably in order to keep Nikawa, the victim, safe. Azuma knocks on the door, muttering his current feelings. After a slightly mumbled reply from the inside, he slides the door open and enters.
はじめまして、上崎署の東と申します。先生から聞いてます。この度は大変でしたね。
Azuma pays close attention to Nikawa's complexion and condition while greeting him politely. He has only been granted 10 minutes for this meeting because they have just allowed the patient to have visitors. The doctor also warned him not to pressure his patient. Knowing there's no time to waste, he starts to break the ice. Oh, they managed to reattach it! According to what he heard from Nikawa's doctor in advance, there's a chance his arm can recover enough to function, not fully, but to a certain degree. Yo! That was the result of a series of good fortune, that the surgery was performed promptly, the bladed weapon used was very sharp, and the day he was attacked was unseasonably cold. Wait, but it was completely severed and they managed to reattach it and kind of connect the nerves again? Like, it's one thing to reattach a completely severed arm, but like... Okay, no, I don't want... No, I want to think about it. It's making my arm hurt. Nikawa answers with a frown. Azuma asked the question on purpose, expecting this reply. Azuma started off this chit-chat not only to relax him, but also primarily to see how he acts and talks when he's not lying. He just gathered some sample data on this Nikawa fan. The right thing to do here would be to choose questions with due consideration for Nikawa's mental condition. However, it's already confirmed that the case is still ongoing based on what Azuma found out this morning. He has a feeling that every wasted moment could lead to more victims. Nikawa responds, taken aback. He must have been expecting a question about the authenticity of his testimony that he'd been attacked by a doll. Alternatively, he might have anticipated being asked if he knew of anyone with a grudge against him. Until now, the officers who come here asked questions falling into those categories. But Azuma's interest lies elsewhere. Nikawa answers in a perplexed tone, unable to figure out the intention behind the question.
なぜ店に仕入れたんですか？
The investigation conducted by the police showed that dolls of that size aren't cheap, even as mass production models. Nikawa isn't wealthy enough to buy that doll just on a whim. That means he had some other good reason for the purchase.
仕入れたわけではなくて、個人的に気に入ったから購入したんです。
Well, why would you keep it in a shack? In the shack then? If you liked it and bought it for yourself, wouldn't you take better care of it?
でもサイズが大きいこともあって、とりあえず店に置いてました。
A wry smile forms on Azuma's face as he hears the overly predictable
お
response.
かしいな。あなたがお住まいの場所は青海区にある家賃15万 4LDK の一軒家だ。
1500,000 yen. What? 1500,000? 1500,000. Why would you say it like that? I think the entire principle of saying like, oh, that is not how you say it in English, but like saying 1500 instead of 1,500 is always weird, but okay.
趣味でもあるアンティーク集めのために部屋も多めで小型の倉庫も併設しているとか。
倉庫にはいろいろと物を置きすぎましてね。ほとんど空いているスペースがないんですよ。
では、あなたが先日購入した1メートル以上もある大きな置物は家の中のどちらに置かれたのね？
Ever since Azuma got involved in this case, what has been plaguing him is the reason why Nikawa had the doll in the backyard, not whether his testimony is true or not. The other investigators wouldn't consider that relevant, but the question has led Azuma to one speculation.
刑事さんは
That's just 1.5 million? No, I think that's a little too many. Hold on. Wait. 1,500 would be 1,500, right? And then another 1,000. Oh yeah, no, you're right. I fucked up. Yeah, you're right. 1.5 million. Fucking math.
人形を自分のものにしておきたいが、いつも身近に人形がいるのも嫌だ。あなたはそんな風に考えていたんじゃないですか？
言っている意味がわかりませんが。
Nikawa's expression is very instead of baffled. Azuma doesn't miss it.
難しい話じゃなく、あの人形がすごく高価なことをあなたは知っていたのかなと思いまして。
Azuma tries to sound as nonchalant as he can. The answer he just gave is a fake. He needs to prevent Nikama from figuring out his
手
intentions.
元に置いておきたいが、自宅に置くには怖さもある。店の方が扉や鍵もしっかりしていることでしょう。
ああ、そういうことですか。
一般的な民家に住んでいて、枕元に1億の現金を置いてぐっすり眠れる人は少ないですから。
1 plus 2 quick maths. Azuma releases his speculation that he knows is off the mark. A famous detective in a crime-solving TV show would find this the best timing to corner the criminal, but he doesn't think about it in the slightest. And that's not because he's a man of mercy. He simply decided that he doesn't need to do anything else here and now, so that the rest of his moves will work out in the future.
事件以来、記憶が混乱しているみたいで、はっきりしないけど、あの人形はそれくらい高価なものだったのかもしれません。
Nika responds with a forced smile. The fact that he quickly became supportive about the fake speculation tells Azuma he doesn't want to talk about this topic.
混乱といえば、人形に襲われたという記憶について変わりは？
はっきりと見た。私には何度聞かれてもそれしか言えません。
He declares immediately. No hesitation can be found on his face anymore. Azuma intuitively realizes he's not lying about it. The fact that he doesn't seem to even suspect it could have been his imagination or that his memory was scrambled makes Azuma feel more suspicious. Is there any other evidence of the doll's assault apart from his own memory? Or does he know something about a doll that could attack him? Or what? Or are we going to go somewhere else? Okay. The gloomy street where there are a lot of shops like ramen shops or yummy, no one knows what they are even here for. Almost all the residents here are disobeyers or people affiliated with them. Huh. As I'm walking down Cave Street on my way to the noodle graveyard, I notice something isn't right around me. Not bad timing. I was correct not to take Shizuku and Jun with me. Right behind me, 20 meters away, the unconcealed lust for battle is piercing my back. It's like the aura a beast gives out when it recognizes its prey. Regardless of what day it is, this street is usually low on traffic, and there's no one inside at the moment either. The one behind me must have waited for this chance to pop up. Well, how about we talk first? Ignoring my proposal, the bloodlust approaches. It seems they just want to begin the fight immediately. I better get ready then. The people inside the nearby stores, I doubt they will fold us for this trifle. They're already just a few steps away. I try turning around to see the opponent's face. Twist myself around to dodge the arrow-like blow. Ooh! Next comes a lightning-fast kick aimed at my sight. Deciding I can't evade the attack, I brace my left arm for blocking it. With the assistance of the kick's momentum, I take several steps backwards to open up space for myself. Who the fuck are you? Can we stop this now? The man before me is exactly who I was expecting it to be. The look on his face makes it clear he's exhilarated. What a pain. I can tell he's not going to become composed enough to listen to me unless one of us puts an end to the fight. He furiously jumps off the ground to close a 3-meter distance toward me. His speed is monstrous. But it's obvious that he's sacrificing the balance of his upper and lower body to generate that speed. Just as suspected, he only delivers a faint level perfunctory blow and I parry it with a minimal motion. The attack was clearly not meant to do any damage to me, which means... Oh. The opponent throws a kick toward my solar plexus, but I somehow managed to dodge it by twisting my body. What the fucking lock design is this? There's only... Oh my god. Who designs a lock where you can only see one singular text box? It resembles a frontal karate kick, but it's even more brutal, reminding me of a sharp javelin. The fight is moving along much faster than I assumed. I have to change my mindset. In conjunction with that decision, I switched my stance from my left side, facing front to the right. Now I know what he wants. He wants a high-speed exchange of blows in close quarters, instead of predicting and responding to each other's next move. With that realization, I think I grant him his wish and satisfy him. He kicks off the ground again to move toward me at ultra-high speed. No, this is not it. This is not the main dish. The man facing me knows who I am and understands an attack this weak cannot hurt me at all. The rain of blows suddenly ceases. The assailant bends his upper body forward as though having run out of energy. The more furious the attacks are, the more opportunities there are to counterattack after you parry them. I wouldn't blame you if you consider this motionless moment he just created to be one of those opportunities. But I can tell this is the preamble to... What the... As he draws his left shoulder back to shoot a lethal blow, I throw a kick with my right leg at the base of his left arm. The kick isn't that powerful, but strong enough to unbalance the attacker's body. I succeeded completely neutralizing his technique by hitting its fulcrum point. While he pulls himself up to regain balance for a couple milliseconds, I thrust my right fist toward him and hold it right before his face. Can I take that to mean I win? This guy reminds me of Ida from Hero Academia. Alright, looks like he's now ready to talk. Roku, I told you this a few times to Manny, but you have to stop attacking me out of nowhere. It really freaks me out. Kashiwaba Rokuro, a person who belongs to the group called the Disobey is just like the protagonist, age unknown. Unlike you who fights variants at the front, he works for the intelligence department consisting of professional support members. With his partner Akane, he gathers information on the peripheral areas. He finds the most pleasing thing to brush up his own mind and body, and he spends his life only focusing on how to improve himself every single day. Ooh.
心臓に悪いご冗談この程度はユウさんにとって挨拶のようなものでしょう
What kind of a crazy guy does he think I am?
そんなことよりも最後の一撃はジークンドーのジーダですか
I didn't mean to use it like that, but it might be the same in a way.
実践においては机上の空論だと思っていましたよ。しかも初見の技に対しても合わせられるとは驚きです。
Roku, you weren't here to ambush me, were you?
残念ながらおやすさんのところに情報を届けに行く途中です。するとユウさんの姿が見えたのでつい。
You can't attack someone just because you feel like it.
ユウさんもおやすさんのところに。
Yes, I'll need to know if there's any progress on the case.
それはちょうどいい。いろいろと新鮮な食材が入荷したばかりです。
Something to do with the doll?
ええ、例えば雑貨屋のいとこ
Oh
が
yeah,
2日前から行方不明
Yeah,
に
the
ある。
cousin we saw as an extra scene. That the cousin had something at his window. After he checked under his bed. The owner's cousin, the person isn't an owner of the doll, is he?
ないですね。
Does that mean...
詳しい話は激うま亭で行うとしましょう。他にも主要キャストがいらっしゃいますから。
Maybe they're expanding. Who knows? Maybe they expand.
Oh, 珍しい二人組だな。
Extremely unusual. Oh my god, 1 second. Before I started stream, I was like, it's so warm. I don't need a jacket. Now that I'm actually sitting here, it's cold.
駅から少し来たところで偶然出会いまして。
And then he attacked me.
お前何やってんだよ。
人聞きの悪い。ちょっとした挨拶代わりに拳を交わしただけです。
Yeah, so you attacked me.
いつからこの町は修羅の国になったんだよ。
何かまずかったですかね。
But you don't see anything wrong with it, is what's wrong.
ユウさんは哲学的なことをおっしゃいますね。
すっげえ常識的なことしか言ってねえけどな。ジュ
This
ニ
is
アは
coming from the guy who thinks I'm complimenting his cooking every time I tell him I feel sorry for his ingredients.
例えばですよ。目の前に最高に美味しそうな食材があるとして、
Alright.
おやすさんなら
おりゃあ調理してみたいと思うわな。
そういうことです。
なるほど、そういうことか。
Don't get convinced by such a cheap excuse. If picking a fight is as insignificant as cooking, I won't even be able to afford to take a walk out there.
それで六郎の要件は分かってるけど、ジュニアは調査の進展を聞きに来たのか？
Yeah. That, and there's something else that I want to ask you, Pops. I'm not sure how much it could be linked to the case, but Asma had one good observation.
おお、あのキレキレデカニか。ぜひとも聞かせてほしいな。
それは私も興味がありますね。ご一緒してよろしいですか？
Sure.
なるほどな。バックヤードに人形があった理由か。
要するに、東氏は二川氏をただの不幸な被害者だとは考えていないということですか？
I guess so. But I have no idea what he suspects him of being. The assailant, or one of those who know what's behind all this, or something else. At least Azuma believes Nikawa thinks of the doll as more than a mere decoration.
興味深い推論ですね。我々はその切り口は考えていませんでした。
怪しいのは人形と、その後ろにいるかもしれない何者かだと思い込んでたからな。雑貨屋を含め、持ち主たちは完全な被害者って構図で考えてたぜ。
ええ。こういう先入観は非常に良くないというのに、こちらでもその方向で探りを入れてみましょうか。
特に雑貨屋は他の所有者たちと比べてイレギュラーなのは間違いねえしな。
It's certainly possible that only he is in a different situation because he's somehow different from the other victim.
こうなると、今朝の情報も別の意味を持つかもしれません。
もしれねえな。
Oh, Sagi, thank you for the 100 time. Good evening. How you doing? Sneaking into a stream and silently giving a redeem. I see how it is. I'm the same. Is it what you mentioned earlier?
ええ、人形の周りで行方不明になっていたのは持ち主だけじゃなかったという事実です。
Are there missing people as in other than the shop owner's cousin?
むしろその人物はきっかけでしかありません。
Oh.
昨日その人物の行方がわからないという通報が警察に入りましてね。その情報を受け我々としては念のために調査範囲の拡大に踏み切りました。
So you're working off those other missing people now?
ええ、念のためということでしたがかなりの人数を投入して調査を開始してすぐに3日前から行方不明になっている市内在住の男性も三河と旧知の中であることが判明しました。
Already 2 people close to Nikawa are missing. Furthermore, this is something that's happening right now.
当然他の所有者の周囲でも同じような事件が起こっていないか調べてみたところ分かっている範囲で50人弱の行方不明者が新たに発覚しました。
What the fuck? 50?
しかも全員が綺麗さっぱり。
It's one thing for
跡形
1 or
も
2
なく
people to go missing. It was a thing for it to be like 10 or, well, how many was it? 13 previous owners of the doll to go missing, but 50 people and they have no clue whatsoever and no one noticed? What? Over the course of the last 20 years? That number doesn't include the doll owners, does it?
ええ、含めれば優に60名を超えます。
What we found out over the last few days is merely the top of the iceberg, it seems. This case just turned into by far the biggest one in terms of the number of victims in recent history.
感染していくような力ってことはないのかね。
If so, there would have been way more victims. 20 years has to be long enough to have made that happen. And some of us disobey us, consequently would have become aware of it and tried to deal with it.
絶対とは言えませんが、おそらくはおやすさんの危惧する事態は起こっていないかと。調べた限りでは被害は限定的です。人形の所有者かその知り合いに限られる。
I wouldn't say 60 missing people is limited.
こりゃもう人形が関わっているかもとか言ってる場合じゃねえわな。
Even though we're not even sure what sort of entity the culprit might be, one thing for sure is that they are like a devil that drags you into a nightmare. But even so, I hate to bring this up, but why hasn't anybody found any of this until now? The police should have happened to hear about some of the missing people cases as long as the investigation came down to the surroundings of the doll owners. A person going missing isn't something that you can take lightly.
言い訳に聞こえるかもしれませんが、それには理由がありまして、行方不明になっているのが所有者の家族や恋人という近しい人々であれば、すぐに
unrelated
判明
people?
もしたでしょう。ですが、所有者とは距離のある、はっきり言ってしまえば関係の悪い人物ばかりが消えているようなのです。
雑貨屋に限ってみても消えたいとこや知人とは金銭トラブルを抱えてたことが判明している。
I misunderstood as extra missing people being very close to the owners just because they were victims too. No, hold on a second. The ones who get the best deal out of those extra missing cases are the doll owners, aren't they?
だからですよ。だから雑貨屋は単純な被害者ではないという説に我々も興味を持つわけです。
他の所有者についても単純な被害者かを洗ってみる価値はあるだろう。
But the other victims are all gone. What is this all about?
まあその話はもう一人の役者と一緒にするとしようや。
One more player?
派手好きな彼らしいグッドタイミングでの登場ですか。
よう高校生、やっぱり
Yo
すぐに会うことになったな。
Seems so. And unfortunately for both of us, it's not off duty. Right, last time we met Rin, we were like, hopefully next time we'll see each other off duty. But no. We're hard at work here.
かし、なんでリーマンまでいるんだ？
What kind of fucking nicknames do you have for people?
相変わらず手厳しい。
情報を掴んできたのがロックなんだよ。
ああ、それなら我慢するしかないか。
Dude, let's take it easy, okay?
仕方ないだろう。俺は親父の料理の次にリーマンが苦手なんだ。
Damn, it's that bad. That's a pretty harsh comparison.
そこまで言われると、さすがの私も傷ついてしまいます。
なあ、結局俺が一番悪く言われてねえか？
Being allergic to each other is a common matter among the disobeyers, each of whom possesses intense emotions, and Rin's enmity for Roku is a good example of that.
それで親父よ。俺は例の依頼人について情報があるって言われたから来たんだけど、高校生がいるってことは例の人形絡みで話し中か？
まあな。
I don't mind stepping out if you guys need some
い
privacy.
や、ジュニアもこの場にいてくれ。
Oh,
お前に話すのも鈴なりに話すのも全く
どういうことだ？
二つの剣がつながったってことだ。
why?
ズバリ、副島という名の人物はあの人形の関係者です。
詳しく聞かせてくれよ。
I'm sorry to interrupt, but who's this Sojima guy?
そこも含めて全員で情報交換と行こうじゃねえのよ。
Okay. I think everything that Sojima told Rin completely relates to this case.
今となってはそうとしか聞こえないな。
だがここ最近白沢商事の系列会社で人が行方不明になるなんて事件は起こっちゃいねえ。でなきゃとっくに事件とのつながりを疑ってたぜ。
But what if... Okay, so no one's been missing recently, but we know that the entire doll case has been happening for years already. Who's to say that, you know, one of those guys went missing and they're just pretending to be him? If you've been pretending to be someone else for quite a few years, it wouldn't be suspicious at all right now.
でも見つけたんだろ？そのつながりってやつをさ。
ロケよ、説明を頼めるか？
もちろんですとも。今から5年前の所有者に田村という人物がいます。彼も
I
もちろん
dropped
行
this
方
in my
不明
mind,
なわけ
yeah,
です。
that name was on it.
彼の周辺でも2人の行方不明者が出ているのです。そのうちの1名の方の名前が
Ah!
副島。
So, Rin met someone who had disappeared for 5 years? And he filled Rin in on the 5-year-old incident?
ちなみに副島氏に田村氏、さらにもう一人の行方不明者は全員が白沢エレテックという会社に勤めていました。
One of the affiliated companies of Shiro Corporation specialized in electric technical products. The company is relatively new, having been founded 20 years ago, and their sales are not that high yet. They're currently working more with countries in East Asia and Southeast Asia than the European countries, with which their parent company has strong relations. 20 years ago.
名前から察しがついていると思うが、白沢商事の系列会社だぜ。
In other words, those two people had actually gone missing, but our investigation didn't cover them until now because their cases were years old.
勤め先までピタリか。
Do we think he's the actual Sojima?
その答えはすぐにわかるさ。例のものは用意できたんだろう。
でなければこの場所に顔は出していませんよ。鈴成さん、これを見ていただけますか？
I peek at the picture from the side and see a suited young man in it. Who is this?
副島氏の生前の写真です。
Rin-sansa can change the whole picture of this case into something immensely different. Actually, there's still a possibility that those missing are still alive, hiding themselves for some reason.
いや、残念だけど、俺が会った副島って男はこんな顔じゃない。
そうか。
こうなると現状可能性はいくつかに絞られますね。
One would be that someone was disguised as Sojima.
その場合は消えた副島について詳しい事情を知っている人間だな。
失踪の事実を知った上で名前を語るくらいなら誰にでもできるだろう。
副島氏が失踪したとされるのが上司の行方がわからなくなってから、しかも失踪当時彼はマンションの
Oh yeah, the 8th floor thing? That's what the Sojima that Dean Matt told us about though.
お前に語った通りの内容だろう。
なる。偽添島は本当の添島の事件について詳細を知ってるってことか。しかし、なんで俺に接触してきたんだ？
添島の関係者が失踪の真相を知りたくて接触してきたとかどうよ。
ありそうな話だけど、それならもっと調査してもらえるように粘るんじゃないか。
We'll go to a private detective or something.
だよな。次から次へとわけのわからねえことばっかり起こりやがる。
いろいろ起こってはいるけど、要点は2つだろう。
Firstly, we have to find out the true identity of the fake Soejima and his intention. Secondly, we need to put an end to all these disappearances around the doll owners. The second one ought to be given first priority due to there already being a number of victims. Plus, the duty assigned to me is to fight against the mastermind behind all those disappearances.
偽の副島氏の正体については情報部で関係者の写真を集めておきます。
The imposter. Sus.
それを鈴成さんやお知り合いの方々に確認してもらうとしましょう。
俺の方でも自称添島の写真を手に入れられないか飲んである。
今はそれしかないかね。至急の対処が必要なのは雑貨や周辺の行方不明についてか。
Needless to say, we have to prevent any more people from going missing. As for those two recent disappearances, we may still be able to save them if we act quickly enough.
うちでもいろいろと配置を検討するが、おそらく今回は場所じゃなく人が基準になるだろう。
おそらくは雑貨屋の周辺を洗って彼と不仲である人物をマークすることになりますかね。
そうなると俺たちじゃなく隠密行動が得意な情報部が主体の方がいいわな。
守ろうとする相手にも説明しようがないからな。
対象者を探して監視するのは問題ありませんが、戦いもとなるとうちの人員は限られます。
そこは互いに連携するのが一番。
その着信音、心臓に悪いから変えようよ、高校生。
Oh, that's my phone.
私は嫌いじゃありませんがね。
Sorry about that. The screen displays the name Azuma. I excuse myself to the three men through eye contact and head outside. This is Amakawa?
今大丈夫かい？
Sure.
雑貨屋についての手応えを聞きたいかと思って連絡したが、
I just got a bunch of new info
い
too.
ろいろってことは電話で話すのは難しい？
It's a little complicated. Well, for him it might be a very simple matter. Shall we meet up?
そうだな。ちょうどいいか。ちょっと午後から行こうと思っていた場所に付き合ってもらえるか。
Where is it?
上崎駅から車で20分しないくらいの場所だから、そう迷惑はかけないと思うが。
Is this about the doll?
と、俺は睨んでる。行方不明者の部屋のうちの一つに立ち寄ってみようかと思ってな。
Oh. Got it. I'm coming with you. It still fucks me up that the ramen in the back there is written with an H. What scenario is available in other districts? What do you mean? Okay, but it actually told us that this scenario is available in other districts. I sure as fuck hope I've not missed out on other side content like this. That would suck. I think that was the first time the message showed up though. Hi. This text message from yesterday really so devastating. It still keeps warming me up from within. I can't believe this. I only read it that one time because I knew I would otherwise wind up unable to hold myself back. I'm so happy that I received the message. And what makes me even happier is that Amakawa had enough time to afford to text me that way. I know he'll be fine. He'll be fine no matter what happens. I will definitely see him at school after the break. That's why I need to spend my time for him, thinking only of him. My cell phone is older than any of my other classmates except one. It's the same model as Amakawa's, just in a different color. Despite knowing it's nothing more than a piece of machinery, it feels like a warm beating heart as I softly clutch it. Girl, are you for real? What was the... Okay. That was definitely needed. Sorry I kept you waiting.
問題ない。後を見ていたからあと1時間は待てた。
Eh? You said you had somewhere to go.
行方不明者のうち 数名が得意行方不明者として扱われていてね。
Howdy, folks. Howdy, room. Good evening. The missing who was supposedly in a crisis of life because of an incident or an accident. Okay. Care to elaborate?
失踪した者の中でも事件や事故に巻き込まれた可能性があると警察が判断した事例のことだ。
Did you find any evidence of that?
記録を見る限りではそこまで決定的なものじゃない。ただの失踪と考えるには不自然な点があるって程度だ。
I didn't know there were such records left.
全てが十分な内容とは言えないが、何件かはしっかりと調べられているものもあった。
It's perfectly natural to turn to the police when someone close to you suddenly vanished, but one thing that seems certain is that none of these past investigations were able to find anything that led to the cause of the disappearances.
そのうちの一件が今から行く場所だ。
What's the location?
中央区の外れにあるマンション。人形所有者ではなくてその関係者だ。
So you already know people other than the owners went missing too. I was going to tell him in case he didn't already know.
ああ、今日の朝一番でな。
Update server and profiles ping. Yeah! Every time it's like, damn, new art. I need to put it absolutely everywhere.
不謹慎だが、ある意味ではデータ量が増えたから犯人をより追いやすくはなった。
I was so happy I got a slot by this artist. And the deadline was today. And I kept checking my email so many times and it was like, is it up? Is it up? It's already up. Sounding inconsiderate doesn't matter to us. What matters is putting an end to this whole thing.
だな。
Two people have disappeared in just the last 3 days. There's nothing to say the same couldn't happen to someone else at this very moment. Since you consider the place worth visiting, there's something nagging you about his disappearance, isn't there?
得意扱いについては全て洗い直してみるつもりだが、この副島という男については。
Oh, thank you for the short hair redeem. Did you just say Soejima? Here comes that name again.
どうした？
That man knew Tamara, didn't he?
ああ、5年前に人形の所有者だった男の当時の同僚だ。
That's the man I wanted to ask you about. He's got all our attention right now. This is such good timing, it's actually getting creepy. It feels as though someone is just pulling the strings on this whole thing.
少年、昼飯はまだだろ？
Huh?
車で移動しながらと思っていたが、どこかで飯でも食いながら話を聞かせてもらおうかと思ってな。目的地への移動はその後だ。
Are you sure we got time to that?
頭の回転に糖分は不可欠だし、運転しながらで聞くような内容じゃなさそうなんだな。
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Let's exchange some information. That's going good, by the way. How are you enjoying your holiday? Yeah! I didn't really move much. I was pretty much just in bed the entire day. But it was good. Yesterday was rice porridge and today noodle salad. Cincinnati is slightly worried about Mada's calorie intake given his bulky body size, but the man himself insists that having a bigger breakfast and smaller lunch works perfectly for him. They have known each other for years now. During those years, Cincinnati has never seen Mada lose weight or sneak in any snacks between meals, so he might be right about his eating habits. That's what holidays are for, yeah, I guess.
いろいろ話は集まってきましたが、なんか妙な感じでした。
妙な感じ？
そもそも俺のダチと副島さんが出会ったのは、
バーっていうとマスターがいてジャズがかかってる的な。
Cincinnati doesn't go out to drink. He only enjoys small amounts of alcohol at home together with his
お
partner.
二人は全くお酒を飲みませんからピンとこないかもしれませんが、細かく言うのならダーツバーってやつです。もっとワイワイする感じで。
それは似合わないな。
やっぱそうっすよね。我ながら似合わないよなって思ったりもします。
違う。まえちゃんはびっくりするほど似合ってるって。
Cincinnati chuckles over how he's being modest about something that no one thinks strangely of. Going by appearance alone, he's a perfect match for that kind of shady place.
じゃあ似合わないっていうのは？
そう、ミスター副島。
Technically, he's self-proclaimed
リンさんの言いたい
Soejima.
ことはわかります。俺が初めて副島さんと会った時にもあまり見かけない人種だなって思いましたから。
賑やかな場所が好きなのかね。
それが
一番の目的はリンさんやお仲間の人たちに会うことだったんじゃないかと。
Not a
他の
frowns.
店に霊能力者の知り合いがいる人はいないかってファンに聞かれた人もいまして。
Yeah, okay, that type of guy does stay in people's like memory. If you're like in a jazz bar and someone goes around and is like, hey, you know any physics? Yeah, you know any physics? You know how gravity works? As part of his information puzzle Suzunari, why would he be looking for people who know psychics instead of the psychics themselves?
まるでそのバーに来たのも俺という知り合いがいる前ちゃんが店に来るって知ってたからみたいだな。
モテモテっすね、リンさん。
嬉しくもないね。
Suzunari effusively shrugs his
ま
shoulders.
あどうせモテるなら美女の方がいいっすよね。
怪しい男にモテるよりはいいかもしれないけど、それも別に興味ないよ。
世界一素晴らしい女性がいつも隣にいるからですか？
前ちゃんは分かってるね。正解だよ。商品として今日の飯は俺のおごりで。
あざっす。飯の俺ってわけじゃないっすけど、これゲットしました。
Maeda holds out a photo for Suzunari, looking very proud.
これは
なかなかのプレゼントでしょ。
最高だよ前ちゃん。今月の MVP 間違いなし。
The man printed in the picture is exactly the same man Suzunari met 2 days ago. The man no one knows anything about, not even his real
デ
name.
ータスマホに送りますか？
Maeda produces a smartphone from his pocket and shakes it towards
PC の方
Suzunari.
に頼む。
Suzunari has already decided to share with the intelligence department and the ramen shop. All we can do is to verify that the picture shows the man he met the other day. They have the experts who can search for the man with the help of the
そ
photo.
れにしてもよく見つけたな。
You know any physics? Would you like to learn some? Oh no.
本人は写真に写るのを拒否ってたみたいですけど、場所柄かみんな写真とか撮りまくるんす。そこから何枚か写り込んでるものが見つかりました。
Someone with a fake identity refuses to be taken pictures of. Suzunari considers it sensible, you
そ
know?
れにしても
It does make sense, yeah. Suzunari wonders what kind of emotions this man with a face like a no mask could be hiding, staring at the photograph that shows him sitting in a seat. It would be weird if he was standing on a seat, but okay, yeah. What? Condominium. Condominium. Is that how you say that, really? In a very good location, a 10-minute walk away from the station. The man named Soejima used to live in one of the rooms in here. I would like to enter that place, yes. I have a slight feeling, though, by the way, that by the end of this game, we will not know a lot of, like, the pretty extensive world building they did in the beginning. With, like, the weird fairy tale story and everything. Because Chiharu seems to be there just to be in love with him and doesn't do anything else, and I really doubt they're going to be expanding on her that much. And if the game only has this one chapter, they're probably only going to be dealing with the dolls, and then it's going to be done and over with, which is a little sad. I could be wrong. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but that's... Oops. Oh god. Almost rolled over my controller cable. That's going to be a little sad. I follow Azuma's gaze and find some laundry hanging out to dry on the balcony.
すでに別の人物が住んでいて中を見ることは難しいがな。
Oh. What made you choose Soejima over the other special disappearances?
記録を見てもこの件が事件の匂いが一番濃いからな。
Ah.
道すがら聞いた話は全く関係ないし、そういう意味では偶然だ。
His family or the police, did none of them suspected his disappearance was related to a crime 5 years ago?
いや、5年前の時点で事件だと断定できるとは思えない。これは異形や末路ある者が関わっている前提で考えるから事件だと想定できる話だ。
In other words, Azuma must have found something that proves this wasn't the work of humans. Okay, so what part of this case is attracting your attention?
まず肝となるのが 当時の副島たちがほぼ密室だったということだ。連絡の取れない彼を心配した会社の上司と同僚がマンションの管理人と部屋に踏み込んだ時、一箇所の窓を除き全ての鍵が施錠されていた。玄関の鍵は勝手な複製がほぼ不可能な鍵なんだが、それが財布や携帯といった貴重品とともに室内に残されていた。
Which means the front door couldn't have been used as a way out.
副島が外に出るには鍵が開いていた窓だけがルートになるわけだが、
This is the 8th floor.
しかも何の引っかかりもない壁面の窓だ。
Like I said, maybe Spider-Man broke in. Achievements will be in the first chapters, but none for the last couple of chapters or games, so that people will try to gauge how long the game was by the achievements will be trolled. That would be mean.
この時点で5年前の捜査は手詰まりになっている。
As long as the way he vanished remained unknown, it couldn't count as a crime.
ここで鍵になるのは自転車置き場の屋根に落ちていた副島の私物だ。
The bike shed. Is that the one we can see over there?
そう、あの自転車置き場の屋根の上に副島が部屋着として愛用していたストールが落ちていたんだ。
The fuck?
もっとも当時は一切重要視されていなかったわけだが、
Achievement hunters would love me though. Achievement hunters would not have to finish your game completely to get all of the achievements. And what's between his disappearance and nothing? There's a non-negligible chance he just accidentally dropped it from the building while heading out.
そのストールは30歳の誕生日に両親から贈られたものらしいんだが、
I'm sorry,
ビ
by
クニ
a
アという
what?
動物の毛で織られた高級品なんだ。
A grass-eating camel animal which lives in the Andes. Especially the high alpine areas. Woven goods made from its quality wool are highly expensive. I'm sorry, what? What's that? What kind of animal is that supposed to be? Vicuña. Okay. I have no fucking idea. Extremely soft fur though. Yeah, some kind of camel alpaca type.
20万円の札束をどこかに落としてそれを放ったままにしておく人間がどれほどいると思う？しかも仲のいい両親からの思い
Yeah,
が
that
た
is
っ
weird.
ぷりの品。
All that considered, it does seem unlikely.
つまり彼自身が意識して落としたのではないとしてだ。ここでこのざっくりとしたマンションの概要図を見てくれ。
Wow. This is indeed rough.
図を使ってざっくりと説明させてもらうが、ストールが落ちていたのは自転車小屋のこの辺りだ。
Oh, seems pretty hard for it to get down there if you drop it from the apartment. Maybe win. Nah, it's still unlikely.
でだ、ここが副島の部屋の中で唯一鍵がかかっていなかった窓のある場所だ。
That is right above where the store was found. Azuma, what this indicates is...
そこからしか出入りのできない窓がある。そしてそこから出たかもしれない痕跡がある。だがそんなことができる人間がいるはずはないから、通常は除外される憶測だ。
Time for you to pack it in for the day and head back to work. Okay, thank you for coming by. Hope your day goes by quickly. And a Pikachu before you go. Okay. Pikachu. Pika Pika. Pikachu. Are you trying to say somebody snuck in through the window and kidnapped Suijima?
少年への質問はシンプルだ。この位置関係を見て、君たちは異形なら犯行は可能か？
Carrying a fully grown man and getting down 8 floors of sheer wall. Not for all, but there should be some who can do it. I can do it, but a few of those I know probably could. And thank you for the pet. But if that's the case, you can say that all of the missing people were abducted by someone.
追加情報だが、特異行方不明者として扱われている5件。その失踪した人々の自宅では、玄関や窓、どこかしらの鍵が一つ以上開いていた。
It's hard to imagine not even one of them locked everything.
だな。
Did the culprit only target those who forgot to lock everything? It's next to impossible that older people would naively open up their window just because someone knocks on it from the outside. And that leaves... It could be.
どうした少年
If there have been dozens of abductions with this sort of method, you think at least some victims resisted or left trails in the process, right? They could have run for their lives, yelled for help, or called the police. There should have been someone near them who would have noticed some sign of the struggle.
それは俺も疑問に思っていたかといって先に痛めつけたり殺したりしてから運ぼうと思うとそれはそれで痕跡が残る
For instance, like what happened in the backyard of the knick-knack shop. But at least, as of now, nothing shows that the kidnapper did either hurt or kill the targets.
だから最初は行方不明者たちは何らかの理由で自らの足で姿を消したと思っていたどうした少年
I think I've got a little hint that could help with my case.
ひょうたんから駒か
Yeah.
それだけでも連れてきた甲斐があったってもんだ
I'm gonna look into other intel too.
俺は他の得意行方不明者についても現地に足を運んで確かめてみるつもりだ
Please let me know when you find anything new.
そっちもな
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Scenarios available in other districts? Fuck. Yeah, let me go check on the other district. I'm so sorry. I will be right back. I'm so sorry. 1 second. I'm so sorry. Hello. This is why you shouldn't be streaming if you're not feeling well. I'm not quite sure how long I'll be able to do this tonight. I'm very sorry. But I felt so good about being like, hey, we can continue playing this game on Monday for once. We can catch up on that one stream we're missing out on, but I guess my body decided to be super mean. Thank you for the pat. Anyway, I'll try to get a little more done, see if I feel better anytime soon. Oh god. Alright. Extra scenes in different places. A gigantic arterial station that covers several peripheral areas in terms of economics and material flow. Its surroundings are fairly developed and you can find a number of large entertainment facilities and multi-storied office buildings. Ooh. The sun still lingers high in the sky around this hour in May. While walking down the station front street crowded... While walking down the station front street crowded with pleasure seekers and locals, Minamikawa is thinking back on the reunion he had with his old friend yesterday. Even though his friend seems aimless, he always knows full well what he's supposed to do. The fact that he hasn't changed a bit makes him feel nostalgic and happy. Minamikawa has known that his old classmate has a special part-time job since he still went to school. Funnily enough, he wouldn't really try to hide it from other people, so he'd easily become aware of it if you were even a little close to him. Minamikawa sees the reunion as an opportunity. He has one regret from his high school days, that he hasn't yet fully reciprocated what his old friend did for him. He knows that Yu considers it a trifle that doesn't need to be repaid, but it's exactly that personality that makes him sincerely want to work off his debt. He thought to poke around about the doll when he visited 2 shops today, but decided against it. Yu had warned him about the doll. If Minamikawa were to spread the word, it could get more people involved. Minamikawa doesn't care about putting himself in danger as long as he can help Yu in the process, but he can't force other people to do the same. Which leaves him the option of hitting the pavement and looking around on his own. He's decided to run with it and try to do as much as he can. Ever since he heard about the doll yesterday, something's been bothering him, and he's felt that something is wrong all day. He's sure he hasn't ever seen any dolls like Yu described. It's rare to see a doll over 1 meter tall to begin with. Then what is it about Yu's story that bothers him? That is what Minamikawa's been wondering in a corner of his mind. A noise catches his attention, derailing his train of thought. He looks around for the source of the noise and finds a couple. He can hear them bickering. Based on the snatches of the woman's words he can catch, she seems to have arrived late. A light bulb goes on in his head as he realizes what's been bothering him. He couldn't remember what it was because it has nothing to do with the doll at all. He starts to pull out his smartphone but pauses. He realizes he made a very silly mistake. He forgot to ask Yu for his number. He instead searches his address book for someone who should know it. And then an amusing idea comes across his mind. To get the best out of his chance, he decides to repay Yu not only by providing him with his clue, but also by giving him something else. Uh-oh. What type of something else? He's gonna write to Chiharu. Like, hey, you got his phone number? I need to tell him something. The warm sunlight and the soft wind are drifting in through the window. Everything feels calm this afternoon. Ever since I finished lunch, I've been lost in reading a novel sitting on the sofa. I first finished reading it a week ago, and this is my 5th read-through. Why? Whenever Makawa recommends a story, I definitely always go through it more than once. Please! The moment he recommends a piece of writing, it immediately turns into some kind of Bible to me. On my first read-through, I try to let myself be absorbed in the story so that I can simply enjoy it and give it an unclouded review. For my second read-through on, I research on his taste by finding things in common with the other works he recommended before. Reading a lot of books and learning how the stories go is very important work for me. When I reach the last third of my 5th read-through, an electronic sound blares out in the quiet room. The caller's number is unfamiliar, and I hesitate to pick up the phone for a moment, but I can't resist the thought that it could be someone who wants to tell me something about Amakawa.
Hi.
Damn, Jesus Christ. I'm very bad at picking up phone, like, the picking up the phone if it's a number I don't recognize is not something I would usually do. Like, if you try to reach me but I don't have your phone number saved,
もしもし、南川というものですけど、小川さんのお宅ですか?
I think I've heard this clear voice which is neither high nor low.
そうですけど。
私、 以前同じ学校に通っていた南川というものですが。
南川くんってあの南川くん？
An image pops into my mind of this old classmate having a cheerful conversation with Amakawa.
そうそう、あの南川くんでございますよ。
なんで南川くんから電話が？
説明の前にまず文句を一つ言わせてくれや。
文句？
浜川もだけど小川もどれだけ友達いないんだよ。しかもようやく教えてる相手を見つけたと思ったら、なんで家電の番号なんだよ。箱入り？小川って箱入りさんなの？
I got a phone call from someone completely unexpected and he starts complaining. What is this?
それを言うために電話を？
俺は一途で有名だから、そんなことのために彼女以外に電話はしない。
Okay, good for you.
じゃあなんで？
そこの説明も兼ねて、マジでここまでの俺の苦労を聞いとけって。
つまり
Let's summarize the story here. Minamikawa had something to tell Amakawa, but he didn't know his phone number and asked Watanabe, a friend that those two both knew, for help. But Watanabe didn't know it either and told Minamikawa that there was probably only one person in school who did. Watanabe then called Shikura, who was supposed to know the person's phone number, and Minamikawa finally found a way to reach that particular person, which is me.
払い回しにされたってこと？
いや、一言で言えばそうだけどさ、俺の30分を一行にして。
I do not have 30 minutes to just listen to you complain, dude.
まあまあ、それで私は天川くんの電話番号を教えればいいの？
Based on my dad on Amakawa, he wouldn't mind me giving it to Minamikawa.
当たり前のように知ってるのだ。
そんな大したことじゃないと思うけど。
いや、俺と渡辺が知らない時点で学校で知ってるやついたんじゃ
Oh no, don't tell her that. She's gonna be on cloud 9 the entire day. Hi, Nua. Hi, Weird. Good evening.
そんなことあるかもしれないね。
How you doing? As far as I can tell, Amakawa hardly talks to people other than those particular two boys, me and some teachers. If I'm really the only one who has his number, I'm kind of proud of
そ
myself.
れじゃあ、小川に伝言頼みたいんだけど。
You're good? That's good. Here, I'm not really that good. I'm gonna try to get a little further in this game, but I think I have to end the stream early. I saw you finish Yakuza Kiwami 2. Oh yeah, I finished Yakuza Kiwami 2 some weeks ago. We finished 3 on Saturday actually. What's wrong? That's what I'd like to know. I do not know what's wrong except that I'm very much in pain. Heard games confused. You're all good. No, we finished 3 on Saturday. We finished 3 on Saturday. And I gotta say, it's certainly not my favorite so far. The story in the end was pretty good, but the overall experience out of all games was at best. I had some cool characters though. Hope you feel better. Yeah, thank you. I don't know why it's suddenly hitting so bad. I've been in bed the entire day because I've not been feeling well, but I thought, hey, okay, I'm good enough. I can stream now. I can stream on Monday, like I'd planned on doing, and now it's like, woo! Why are we here just to suffer, kind of?
番号を教えるだけじゃないの？
小川が嫌じゃなければ頼みたいけど。
It's no trouble, not at all, but
でも今ここで南川くんに天川くんの電話番号を教えれば。
to push yourself like, yeah, I wanna, I want to at least try and see if I can make it to 2 hours before I stop though. Because I'd hate to end the stream early, but
渡辺や設楽からも小川に連絡させれば面白いってアドバイスされたしな。俺自身も面白い。
Thank you for the higher time.
面白いってはっきり言うね。
多分設楽は小川の反応のことを言ってるんだろうけど、俺としては 天川の反応を想像しただけで楽しくて仕方ない。
天川くんの反応？
だって小川に電話された天川絶対驚くって。クールを通り越しておじいちゃん系男子のあいつが動揺しているのを俺は見てみたい。
Amakava getting surprised by my phone call. I think I want to see that too.
どうしても嫌だって言うなら番号だけ聞いて。
She says that now, but she didn't call him any other time ever since she got his phone number either, because she was like, oh, but I don't really have a particular reason to be calling him. What's he going to think? Minamikawa should know that what my answer will be. Apparently my feelings for Amakawa are pretty obvious to those people who are somewhat close to either of us. But I'm not willing to deny it or dodge the subject, unless it causes him trouble.
なんてすればいい？
そうこなくってな。そこそこ長い内容だからメモを取った方がいいと思うけど。
I never would have imagined that I would have this opportunity to call Amakawa out of the blue. Even though I'm writing down Minamikawa's message, my mind is too busy to understand any of it. I'm already too excited by the fact that I'll be able to hear his voice on the phone. This has been always obvious, but I'm crazy for him. Yeah, you're extremely fucking obvious with it. In fact, it's the only thing you ever talk about, girl. It's the only thing you ever talk about. As I report at the ramen shop about the results of my investigation with Azuma, Pops informs me that Rin has obtained a photo of the fake Suetima. I check out the image file sent via email, but of course it shows someone that I've never met before. Finding people isn't my thing anyway. It's best to leave it to the pros. My job is confronting the enemy on the front line. One reason I'm involved in an investigation regardless is that I know it will help me out a lot when the time comes. And probably the other reason is because of my personality, or rather my tendency which the people around me understand there's nothing they can do about. Sometimes my job requires prompt action. In case I can't answer my cell phone because of some trouble, I have my own extension line in my room. And the ringtone I'm hearing is that of the extension. Hello? It sounds like Jun speaking, and he sounds like he's in such a good mood. What are you talking about? Again, what are you talking about? After he hits me with a bunch of suggestive words without explaining in the slightest what's going on, I hear him put his receiver back on. All I can manage to figure out is that he relayed an outside call to me. Before I can think of anything else, a different sound comes out of my receiver. Seems like I'm connected now. Hello? I doubt Jun let a sales call through. A familiar voice calls out my name. It takes me a couple seconds to figure out who the owner of the voice is, because I never would have imagined she would call me. Hi, good evening. How you doing? What, wait, Ogawa? I involuntarily shout loud enough to surprise myself. What the... Question marks fill my mind. I have no idea what she would call me for. And to begin with, why didn't she call me on my cell phone? Her voice sounds a little different through the phone and it makes my heart race. What's up? Sending you some extra love today, amazing, I appreciate you. Oh, thank you. I need some extra love today. Thank you. The appearance of another friend's name almost perplexes me even further, but the word message helps me recover my composure. I've got an idea of what that message could be about. What I don't know is, how does Ogawa know, and why is she playing the role of the messenger? I see. That makes perfect sense. Ogawa is the only one who knows my phone number and email address except for my coworkers, which indirectly shows how much she means to me. But couldn't he have just asked you for my number? What? Minamikawa must have decided that getting her to call me would be a good way to pay me back a little. Actually, this is way beyond a little. I don't think that's what he meant. I'm sorry for the trouble.
とも迷惑じゃないよ。休みに入る前に私も暇だって話したでしょ。
Even so, I still feel sorry that both she and Minamikawa had to go through all the trouble. But why my home phone? She knows my home telephone number because I also sent it to her when we exchanged our cell numbers, but that's not the surprising part. What made her choose the home phone?
休みに入る前に天川くんが引っ張りだこだって話してたから、バイト先で忙しかったら悪いかなって。家にいる時なら緊急ってこともないかと。
Ah, that's an interesting thought. How thoughtful. I'm impressed. Based on what she's heard from me so far, she must have figured out that my job occasionally puts me in an emergency. She's right about it. Just one phone call can lead to a crisis if I'm in the middle of fighting an unexpected battle or tailing someone. Okay. Thanks a bunch for being so considerate.
全然問題ないよ。驚いてる天川くんの声が聞けたし。
I'm paying much more attention to her words than usual, even though this is just a casual conversation. Maybe because we're talking on the phone right
そ
now.
れで伝言の内容なんだけど、
Sure.
南川くんが話していたことをそのまま読み上げるね。
Her calling me so unusual, I almost forgot the original
店
reason.
の中の出来事じゃないからすぐに思い出せなかったけど、例の雑貨屋の店長について思い出したことがある。1ヶ月くらい前に店の近くの路上で男とめちゃくちゃ激しく揉めているのを見た。相手は若い男で、主に大きな声を出していたのは店長の方。相手の容姿はスーツ姿で、店長よりも身長は高くて
In a suit.
細身だったような気がする。
Oh, that would fit our fake Sojima.
以上だよ。
Thanks. Since Minamikawa considered this worth sharing with me, the verbal battle must have been furious enough for him to suspect it had something to do with the burglary in the shop. If the shop owner turns out to be more than a victim, this information could be important. Of course, it might have been just a regular argument. On the other end of the line, Ogawa is waiting silently for my reply. By the way, it feels really bizarre to hear about the case through her familiar voice. If it was someone else, I wouldn't have gotten a feeling this complicated. I did tell Minamikawa that my job wasn't anything to keep a secret, so there should be no problem with the fact that he handed Ogawa the message to pass it along to me. But I still don't want him to know everything about what I do. I have to say something to not let it happen, but nothing comes to my mind. Not a single part of Minamikawa's message sounds like something that ordinary high schoolers would talk about. It's something that the police or private detectives might discuss. You know...
ねえ、天川くん。
As I open my mouth to start talking, she breaks in. I get nervous, wondering if she's going to ask me for details.
私は南川くんからの伝言を伝えただけだからね。伝えたことは全部すぐに忘れるし、内容も詳しく聞いたりしないから。言い方は変かもしれないけど、安心して。
I'm speechless for a moment. It's as if she read my mind. Well, how should I put this? I've noticed that Ogawa is always really considerate of me, but I think I need to revise that observation. She goes way beyond just being considerate. It's just like magic. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I remind myself of something that I've thought about many times. I can talk comfortably with her even though I'm very hesitant about letting her know everything about what I do. It's not just because I think she's a good match, there's something more. It's also because of her consideration, intelligence, and kindness. No, none of those words can describe it right. It's something even deeper and broader.
じゃあ、この埋め合わせを期待してもいいかな。
Of course, I throw myself at your feet. I answered the way I would do at school because I thought that should be what she wanted.
ゴールデンウィーク中の予定もまだ受け付けてるからね。
Okay, I promise I'll do something for you in return, even if I can't make it during this golden week. I hear her shout yay in glee. I wonder if she realized that it wasn't out of politeness or anything, but that I really meant it. Aww. Well, at least it seems to be kind of reciprocated. Like, Yu is definitely also very much glad about her, and I mean, I don't know if it's a romantic sense on his side, but they're both being weirdos about the other. Various everyday noises filter quietly through the swaying curtains. Car engines humming afar, or the voices of playing children. I'm just looking out the window at the evening sky and clouds. This usually helps me concentrate, but it doesn't seem to be working today. As an investigation grows longer, I always become more like this. It's getting harder to resist what seems to be a compulsion in my mind that actually helps me a lot when it comes to fighting against variance, but now it's too early to let it out of me. The most appropriate time for me to do things my way is when I find my target. Reasoning mode. That is good. You know what? I am so sorry, but we're going to be finishing that reasoning mode and then I have to end stream for tonight because I can barely keep myself upright in the chair right now, and that is not a good thing to be. More people have recently been found missing around the doll. Who are they? Those close to the dolls. What is the true identity of the man who introduced himself as Sojima? Someone disguised as Sojima. Sojima has been missing for 5 years, but why do they suspect a crime? Because of the left behind stole? And what is it that Mina Mikawa recalled about the doll and the knick-knack shop? The owner and the man arguing. Yeah, that should be about right. It's okay, no, finish up and get some rest. Yeah, I will. We're gonna do the reasoning and then we're probably going to get another extra. Yes, another extra scenario and then we're gonna finish for tonight. I'm sorry. A lot of new clues have come to light today. And my cursor is not where I want it to be. There we go. Some of them seem useful for my eventual confrontation with the culprit. The most noteworthy among them is that at least one lock was left unlocked in the house of every missing person, including Sojima. It's hard to think that a variant would take a roundabout approach and bother to open a window to get in. The expert on material variants also mentioned that. To grant their desires, the variants take the most straightforward move according to their instincts. If one of them faces a window, it'll break through without a care for the traces it leaves behind. Therefore, if all the abductions were done indoors, the abductor was at least intelligent enough to be concerned about it. And that reminds me of Nanashi saying the small's human. Is there a human being behind all this? If that's the case, the most suspicious one would be the fake Sojima, who's been missing. Wait, but he's only been missing for... Well, the actual Sojima has been missing for 5. Maybe they always take on one identity of someone who's gone missing and then take on someone else as soon as they run out of time where it worked or something. So they needed someone new. So 5 years ago they took on Sojima's identity or something. One whole day has passed since then. For over 24 hours, Nanashi has been using every conceivable means and connection at his disposal to acquire a certain photograph in order to ascertain the validity of his theory. He hasn't slept a wink, but he doesn't feel tired in the least. He understands that even if he tried to sleep, he would immediately see a figure behind his closed eyelids and jump to his feet. He's more motivated about identifying the doll in question than anyone else involved in this case. Plenty of people went missing, and they were all close to the doll created by the distinguished doll artist. Material variant or not, Nanashi has been crazy about her since the moment he saw that picture. Why she was born, what her existence means, and what involvement she has with this case, he simply has to know. He has no interest whatsoever in preventing any more people from falling victim. His passion and knowledge are overwhelming enough to easily overcome the several decades that the doll has existed. Nanashi already has the doll's creator figured out. He was an artist known for his breathtaking skill who shined brightest between the Taisho era and the early Showa era. Few outside of the art world know of him, but he's highly respected in certain circles. The industry's assessment of him was polarized because of a feature unique to his works. Nanashi's theory is about how that particular feature has to do with the case that's going on right now. The piece of paper in his hand is the very evidence to prove his theory is correct. The instant he sees what's written on the paper, his mind starts shaking so violently he almost chokes off. He is amazed at how wonderful that doll is. The paper is a copy of the photograph taken by the nameless owner around 40 years back. What it shows is a doll that looks a couple of inches shorter than she is today. Oh, ooh. So the original doll, before her head was put on someone else. Weird. Oh, I'm so sorry to the woman who's probably going to have to fight for her life, but she's not going to have to fight for her life today. She's going to have to fight for her life on Wednesday, which is already in 2 more days. So at least it's not going to be that long. Oh my god. I am so sorry. But we're gonna have to end here today. Regardless, thank you guys so much for coming to such a short stream. I'll see you all on Wednesday. Well, hopefully be feeling okay enough to actually make it through the entire stream. For now, I'm going to send you guys off to Jin, who is doing a spooky game called The Caregiver. I do not know what that is about, but it's actually spooky. Just perfect for our October. We like spooky. Hope you feel better. Rest up and say hi, Reddit. I will. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming by. I wish all of you a very, very good night. Thank you for a nice stream. Take some good rest. I will. I'll try to see if I can find some kind of painkiller somewhere around here. Hopefully. Have a nice night. You too. You too. Have a good night. Thank you. Thank you for the pad. Thank you for the pad. Oh god, my poor bot. Both the raid message and the pad were like. Thank you guys for coming tonight. I wish y'all a very, very good night. See y'all soon. And bye bye.